Security Seminar themed Combating Hunger and Poverty for Sustainable Peace and Development in Nigeria, organized by the Alumni Association of the National Defense College in Abuja, represented by the Director of Defense Affairs at the Office of the NSA, Major General Peter Mala. Ribadu said hunger and poverty are not merely social concerns, they are catalysts for insecurity, crime, violence, and social disintegration. He noted that President Bola Tinubu's administration has prioritized agricultural reforms, social investment programs, and security sector interventions aimed at breaking the cycle.
Suspected Fulani herdsmen have reportedly killed 4 Tiv farmers, with scores wounded in a serial attack in Tiv-dominated areas in 3 local government areas of Nasarawa State. This was made known at the press conference organized by the youth arm of the Nzu U-Tiv, the socio-cultural association of people in Nasarawa State, today in Lafia. The group regretted that despite efforts by the Governor Abdullahi Sulei's Community Peace Initiative, Fulani attackers are still rampaging in communities, killing and destroying farms. The chairman of the group, Philip Nongu, said that the attack took place at Doga Ayade of Doka Ward, Ansa of Kwara of Chiefdom, Yange of Tudun Adabu, and Akira of Galadima. The farmers killed, according to Mr. Philip, include Tera Twambi, Sham Kyodo, Zaki Kwataga, Odu, and Teriem Aundo, with many others sustaining various degrees of injuries, currently receive treatment at the Federal University Teaching Hospital, Lafia, and other hospitals. The chairman noted that the sporadic attacks have led to the displacement of over 10,000 people from their communities, currently taking refuge in Pata, Agiaragu, Kadako, and Idadu. Among the crops destroyed are rice, cassava, watermelon, groundnuts, among others, worth millions of naira.
The governor of Enugu State, Peter Mba, has granted pardon to 11 inmates in Enugu, aimed at decongestion the state's correctional facilities. Uche Anichuku, the senior special assistant to Mba on external relations, disclosed this in a statement in Enugu. Anichuku said that the gesture was a step towards giving the beneficiaries another opportunity to live a better life as members of society. He said the beneficiaries of the clemency were conveyed to the state's Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Kingsley Ude by the Chief of Staff to Mba, Mr. Victor Ude. According to Anichuku, the beneficiaries are Ogochuku Oma, Ona Namdi, Chiado Kobi, Auno, Emmanuel Sambu, Emeka Inya, and Gene Oluyole. Others are Francis China Chirim, Eze Chigoze, Anthony Tumbari, Francis Chibozo, and Uzoma Anoche. He explained that the governor's decision was an exercise of his prerogative of mercy powers under Section 212 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended.
The Benue State Police Command has launched a manhunt for suspected kidnappers following the abduction of passengers from a commercial vehicle in the Okwoku local government area of the state. Gunmen reportedly attacked a Hammer bus with a registration number 14B143BN along the AK axis at about 6:30 p.m. yesterday. The assailants were said to have ambushed the vehicle, robbed the occupants, and whisked several passengers into the nearby bush. Confirming the incident in a statement today, the Benue State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Udeme Edet, said one of the abducted passengers, identified as Paul Turns, was rescued during a joint security operation. The attack occurred amid renewed calls for peace following a spate of killings in Benue, which have prompted protests and public outcry across the state.
Nigeria has secured the 3rd position among African nations with the most formidable military forces in the 2025 Global Firepower Military Strengths Index, according to Global Firepower's annual report cited by Newsbank today. The index evaluates 145 countries based on over 60 metrics, including troop numbers, equipment capabilities, financial resources, logistical efficiency, and geographical advantages to assess military strengths. In the 2025 rankings, Egypt maintains its lead as Africa's top military power, followed by Algeria in second place and South Africa in the fourth. Nigeria's rise to third underscores its growing military capabilities, driven by investments in personnel, equipment, and counter-terrorism efforts.
Nigeria has been ranked the 7th friendliest country to strangers in the world, according to the 2025 World Happiness Report by the United Nations. The report, compiled by Oxford University's Wellbeing Research Center in collaboration with Gallup and the UN Sustainable Development Solutions Network, assessed 147 countries based on self-reported well-being and pro-social behaviors like helping others, volunteering, and donating. While Nigeria scored high in kindness to strangers, it placed 105th overall in happiness, pointing to challenges like poor life satisfaction and weak institutions. The report revealed a trust gap. Nigerians were more confident in strangers than in public systems. When asked about lost wallet, Nigeria ranked 33rd if found by a stranger, 71st if found by a neighbor, 126th if found by the police. This highlights low public trust in institutions, a pattern seen in many countries with fragile systems. The report noted that where institutional structures are weak, helping strangers likely becomes the most direct and effective form of benevolence. Nigeria also ranked 45th in charitable donations.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of OYOSTATE, Ibadan. In a bid to promote accountability and ensure measurable development, the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Makinde, has unveiled the Oyo State Legacy Compact, a performance-driven framework set to guide government ministries towards achieving specific deliverables by the end of his tenure in 2027. Governor Makinde made his known during the 2025 Omitutu 2.0 Midterm Leadership Retreat program held at the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, Ibadan. The Omitutu 2.0 Midterm Leadership Retreat, themed reflecting on progress, refining priorities, and refiring for maximum impact and legacy, provided a platform for Governor Seyi Makinde, members of his cabinet, heads of MDAs, and other political appointees in Oyo State to review the administration's achievements and deliberate on strategies for sustained development. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, charged MDAs to collaborate in building a lasting legacy and ensuring the continuity of good governance beyond his administration, adding that the Legacy Compact framework would be monitored quarterly and reviewed during the midterm legacy retreat scheduled for 2026, while maintaining that the quarterly cross-ministerial retreats are not merely for reporting activities but are designed to drive co-delivery outcomes. Governor Makinde proposed a monthly review system between ministries to unlock bottlenecks, track legacy projects, and solve problems before they escalate. Governor Makinde used the medium to further clear the air on the 63 billion naira allocated for the Oyo State Government House renovation, saying that the amount is intended for complete reconstruction of the facilities and not mere rehabilitation, as reported in some media. Among the attendees was Chairman of BCOS, Mrs. Dotun Olaito.
In commemoration of the 2025 International Widows' Day, the First Lady of the State, Engineer Tamunomini Makinde, has reached out to support widows across all local government areas of the state. The event, which was meant to honor the strength and resilience of the widows, also saw the distribution of relief packages to the women. Our reporter, Oluyole, who was at the office of the wife of the governor, Ibadan, now brings those details.
Widows from across the 33 local government areas of Oyo State joined the wife of the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Tamunumini Makinde, to mark the 2025 International Widows Day at her office in Ibadan. Speaking through the lawmaker representing Ogbomoso North constituency in the State House of Assembly, Honorable Olubisi Michael, Mrs. Makinde described widows as pillars of strength who continue to show courage despite the many challenges they face. She affirmed the state government's commitment to supporting them through interventions aimed at restoring confidence and creating opportunities for a better quality of life.
I would like to appreciate the First Lady of Oyo State, Engineer Mrs. Tamunumini Makinde, for a kind gesture towards the widows. They should try to be focused on whatever they are doing. They shouldn't relent. What happened to them, they should not take it as end of the life for them. I know they might be facing some challenges, but I know it's God that can relieve them from all this hardship.
In his welcome address, the Director of Women Programs at the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Inclusion, Mr. Diya Ogunjimi, said the occasion was meant to honor the memory of late spouses, recognize the silent sacrifices of widows, and reassure them that their struggles are not forgotten. Also addressing the women, the wife of the chairperson of Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, AGON, Oyo State Branch, Mrs. Abiola Sonda, commended the First Lady for consistently putting smiles on the faces of widows and other vulnerable groups in the state. According to her, this has been instrumental in restoring hope and dignity to countless women.
The society have to stop stigmatizing widows because it is not their will and they are not even happy about what happens to them as well. So stigmatizing them is like adding salt to an open wound. So I will like to advise the society, if you cannot help them, don't stigmatize them.
While appreciating the wife of the Oyo State Governor, some of the widows shared their ideas and encouraged fellow widows to stay hopeful and support one another.
It will be a great help to us, especially now that the economy of the country is so hard. We thank her and we believe that God will continue to protect and bless her too.
There's no the gifts that is minimum. It belongs to us and we use it to feed our family.
The event featured the distribution of food items and cash gifts to hundreds of widows. Adeola Oladele, BCOS News.
Retail outlets owned by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited have effected an upward adjustment in the pump price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, to 945 naira per litre in the Federal Capital Territory today. It also adjusted its petrol pump price to 915 naira per litre at several of its Lagos retail outlets, marking a fresh upward shift in the downstream retail market. The latest increase marks a fresh spike of 45 naira and 35 naira in Lagos and Abuja, up from the previous prices of 870 naira and 910 naira per litre. The price adjustments come just days after the Dangote Petroleum Refinery increased its ex-depot price of petrol from 825 naira to 880 naira per litre, sparking an industry-wide response.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, said it is expanding clean energy access nationwide with additional compressed natural gas CNG stations in Abuja, Ibadan and Abeokuta. The firm said in an alert post shared on its X platform that NNPCL is actively expanding its CNG fueling station network in Nigeria with a focus on both Lagos and Abuja. According to the firm, the stations are part of a broader initiative to promote the adoption of CNG as a cleaner and more affordable alternative to traditional fuels like petrol. It added that the stations in Lagos and Abuja can dispense over 6 million standard cubic feet of CNG daily, serving approximately 15,000 vehicles daily.
The continued intervention of the United States in the ongoing war between Israel and Iran could escalate into a third world war if Iran is left with no escape route. A peace, conflict and security management expert, Professor Oluyole Albert, stated this while discussing the Israel-Iran war on the BCS Current Affairs Breakfast Program AM 120. Our reporter, Fedora Afolagboyi, who monitored the program, now gives details.
Tensions between Israel and Iran escalated into direct conflict, with devastating airstrikes and missile exchanges, prompting vows of relentless attacks. The conflict has raised concerns about regional stability and global implications, with significant civilian casualties and infrastructure damage, prompting international calls for de-escalation. Quoting a Chinese philosopher, Sun Tzu, in his book titled Art of War, "Leave the enemy a way to escape, otherwise he will fight you to the end." Professor of Peace and Strategic Studies at the University of Ibadan, Oluyole Albert, underscored the U.S. President's action could force allies of Iran into involving themselves, thereby setting the stage for a potential World War III. Professor Albert noted that Israel's prolonged conflict with Palestine, which has been majorly criticized by the international community, is the catalyst for the current war.
This latest escalation of the problem that we're witnessing is as a result of the bloody conflict that Israel has been having with the Palestinians in the past 1 year. Israelis killed many Palestinians, and Israelis believe that Hamas is the force behind that conflict, and that Hamas gets most of its support from Iran. And this was how Iran was dragged into the conflict.
Professor Albert further noted that the conflict is not primarily about religion, emphasizing that it is a complex issue with multiple factors at play.
When we look at how the war in Iraq took place, the American invasion of Iraq, it started this way. America said, look, Iran, Saddam Hussein is having nuclear weapons that could be used to achieve adversarial objectives. But by the time Hussein was eliminated, by the time the Allied forces entered Iraq, they discovered that this country was not actually having what it was accused of having. So the question is, how did America come to the conclusion that the nuclear weapon that country, that Iran is having, is for adversarial purposes? It's a question that nobody has answered so far.
Professor Albert urged allies of both Israel and Iran to rather take on a mediating role to prevent a third world war. Fedora Afolagboyi, BCOS News.
Global airlines have suspended or reduced flights in the Middle East as the conflict between Israel and Iran rages and the United States joins the fight. The U.S. carried out strikes against Iranian nuclear sites overnight Saturday to Sunday after over a week of deadly missile exchanges between Israel and Iran. Some foreign airways cancelled flights between London's Heathrow Airport and Dubai and Doha on Sunday following the U.S. strikes on Iran, while some halted flights to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates until at least Tuesday. Others extended the suspension of the Paris-Tel Aviv route until July 14. Some low-cost carriers from Paris to Beirut have been suspended until June 30, while the Tel Aviv route is closed until September 7.
To end Newscope, here again are the main points. President Bola Tinubu says his government is delivering on its promise to turn Nigeria into a global agricultural powerhouse. Speaking in Abuja today at the launch of the renewed Hope Agricultural Mechanization Program, Tinubu said the new reforms are meant to modernize farming and make it more appealing to young Nigerians.
The United States mission in Nigeria has advised American citizens to avoid unnecessary travel to Nigerian military and government facilities due to increased global security concerns.
And in a bid to promote accountability and ensure measurable development, the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has unveiled the Oyo State Legacy Compact, a performance-driven framework set to guide government ministries towards achieving specific deliverables by the end of his tenure in 2027.
Global airlines have suspended or reduced flights to the Middle East as a conflict between Israel and Iran rages and the United States joins the fight.
And that's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Bode Akinjola and delivered by Oluyole and
Olukemi Ajayi. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
In news, sports and entertainment, we got everything you need and so much more, yeah. 98.5 FM, Oluyole. 98.5 FM. Hear me now, to go down to the #1 station, getting from quality information, brighten up your day in so many ways. Tune to 98.5 FM.
Special secret that I wake and taste for.